Okay, folks, thank you for being here this afternoon. My name is John Skees. I'm the Director of Media for TAPPS. We're about to get started with this training session for the TAPPS I Wanna Maker Golf app. We are joined today by Brian Bunselmeyer, the TAPPS Executive Director, Robert Huckabee, TAPPS Associate Director and Director of Compliance. Steve Huhulan, TAPPS Athletic Director, is also on the call if we need him. And our guest today is Doyle Heisler, the Wanamaker Corporation CEO, and he's going to be handling the training today. A couple of things I want to draw your attention to before we get started. First and foremost, this session will be recorded, and that recording will be made available to you later today. You can also find recordings for any of the webinars or training sessions that we do on our website if you go to tapps.biz, and on the resources drop-down menu, look for an item that says webinars and meetings recordings, and you'll find all of them right there. This is hosted on our YouTube page, so it's easy to share it with anybody on your campus who needs this information. So that's the first thing. Second thing, if you have questions while we go through today's presentation, there is a questions drop-down in the GoToWebinar control panel. Go ahead and type your questions in there. We're going to get them. We'll try to answer them as there's time in the presentation. There will be a brief Q&A at the end, but we'll try to answer them as we go. If your question doesn't get answered, if we run out of time, or if it's just too detail-oriented, too in the weeds to answer appropriately in this venue, go ahead and send us an email, info@tapps.biz, after the webinar is over, and we will get your questions answered. There is a chat feature. We don't really use that. We don't have any handouts today. Mainly just the question and answer part I wanted to make you aware of. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Brian so we can get started.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us here today. It seems like the year goes faster and faster. We come out of the cold, and here we are thinking golf. So it's a great opportunity. The world of golf has changed considerably over the years that I've been with TAPPS, and one of the things that I think is we have been the bastion and maybe the last folks that did it is we're going to use the paper scorecards. We're going to use the score sheets on the wall. When you get there, there's no live scoring that has happened in other places. I know the juniors has done that for years. We've been trying to find a way to do that. We've been trying to find a way to give our golfers, our student athletes, an opportunity, whether it be like max preps or something else that demonstrates what they've done all year and all their career in dealing with this group that we're with today, the I Wanna Maker power behind the TAPPS Golf app. We think we found a great digital solution, one that will not only be utilized at our tournaments, we encourage it at other tournaments. I think you're going to be seeing it throughout the state and throughout national tournaments if you go that way. For those of you that know me, I'm 6'10". I couldn't hit a golf ball if I tried, and sometimes I did try, didn't do it very well. But I'm going to turn it over to Robert Huckabee in our office. He is the director of golf, so to speak, here in-house. Let him say a few words, and then we'll kick it over to Doyle to talk about the app and how it's actually going to work. Robert?
Thank you, Brian. Welcome. Are we there? All right. Thank you, Brian. Welcome to everyone. We are excited about this opportunity, and we wanted to get Doyle on board here as quickly as possible. Once we walk through all the details we needed to get done behind the scenes, we appreciate Doyle's cooperation. He's done this for many other state associations around the country, and we're excited about this opportunity. We've had many coaches approach us in the past about moving toward digital leaderboards, scorecards, those kind of things where coaches can keep up with what's going on during the round, and parents and spectators can do that as well. We'll walk through some of the details of how that's going to transpire throughout the season. Doyle can visit with you about all the details you need to know about how to set it up correctly. And then we will be using this platform for those who are hosting district or regional tournaments like we host the state tournament. We will be using this platform to get your golfers entered in the tournament, and then to track scores during the tournament, and then to verify scores at the end of the day and post the results, and then do the pairings for the next day as we typically do day 2 of the state tournament. So we believe this is a great tool that will help you at the school level, golf coaches and golfers, And then also those of you who are hosting one of our tournaments, we think it's going to be a great tool for you to be able to track the results. And then those results will be available to us here in the TAPPS office immediately, so we can then have everything ready for the next round of play. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Doyle Heisler. Doyle, if you would, you can take over here, introduce yourself to our listeners today, and then walk through a training session of what they need to do and how they need to do it.
All right. Well, thank you, Robert. I appreciate the wonderful introduction. Very well done. And welcome, coaches, to this webinar. Like Robert said, I have done this many times for many coaches across the United States. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through. Again, I'm Doyle Heisler. I'm the founder of I Want to Maker. I reside in South Dakota right now. I grew up in North Dakota. And so we support everyone across all the coaches that have adopted the system, and we've been doing this since 2014. And I'm going to kind of talk about all that. I'm going to get quickly into the actual app, the website, and how everything works. But before I do that, I'm going to do a little bit of a background to make sure that everyone understands kind of what we are. And I'm not sure if you all know, but the National Federation of High Schools is an organization that most of the associations are members of, and so we are the preferred scoring and ranking sponsor of the NFHS. So and this is I like to show this because this is TAPPS. You guys are on board now, along with which I'm happy to announce, the public side as well, and so that makes it nice because now you can compete in events that are hosted by a Texas high school, a public school, but you can also invite them into one that's hosted by you, one of the TAPPS schools that is hosting an event. I'll kind of go in and I'll show you how that works, but you can see that by this map here. And by the way, we just turned on Oregon in the last week and Connecticut as well. So right now we are at about 60% of the entire high school space of the United States is using this platform, and has been, as you can see here. Colorado started in 2014, and so did Arizona. And then since that time, for the past 8 years, it has grown in popularity across the United States. So the thing to understand is what we do is we actually build a custom app for you, right? And so I'm going to pop over here to the Apple App Store, and you can see that TAPPS Golf is right here. This is the app that you're going to want to get on your phone. Well, it doesn't matter if you're an athletic director, if you work at the TAPPS office, or if you're a coach at a school, or a golfer at a school, or a parent wanting to follow. Everyone starts by getting the TAPPS Golf app. There are a few exceptions to that, and that is guys like Robert. We need to get them put in as an executive. There's not an option when you get the app to say I'm the TAPPS. I work at the TAPPS office. We set them up separate. So, but the majority of the people will just start by, let me say who it is. It's the athletic directors, the coaches, the spectators, and the golfers. Those are the four. Outside of that, like media members, they get signed up a little different way. So a little bit about that. So what we do is we have built a custom app. And when you open it up, you're going to notice there's going to be TAPPS golfers, right? We feature different golfers, and we change them periodically, typically annually, to feature different golfers on the app when it launches. It's available in both iOS and Android. Okay, so these are some of the benefits, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this because Robert already talked about a lot of this stuff. But a couple of things that you'll learn as you start to use this is that when you have golfers that are able to score on a common system, that they really learn to play with this team, with a bit of team camaraderie or team chemistry, because now when you've got golfers that are on one team spread out across the course, and they see that their team just jumped up the leaderboard by 2 spots, that might fire them up. Or if it goes the opposite way, we got to work harder, right? But it's a real-time way to compete together as a team or as an individual as well, because there's both team leaderboards and there's individual leaderboards. So that is, and it greatly enhances the fan experience. I can't tell you how wonderful it is when I talk to a grandparent and I've taught, honestly, a grandparent in Texas called me a couple of years ago and was following his granddaughter or grandson in Colorado, and couldn't thank me enough to being able to give him that opportunity to follow that grandson or daughter. So great things. And also going forward in the next version of the app, which is coming out in June, it'll be for you guys the next season, there's going to be GPS built into the app. Okay, so there's just a couple things. So what, and again, I talked to you about, I said, go get the app, right? Well, I'm going to show you real quick. For a coach to register, it's real simple. You get the app, and this happens to be the Florida app, and you get in, and you really only have two choices. You can either log in or sign up. If you don't have a login, you click sign up or touch it. And you just put in your email address, and then you got to prove you own that email. You get the code from your email, and then you're in as a coach. And then now you pick your team. You say, I'm a coach. I'm a coach for this team, and I coach the boys, girls, or both, whatever. You can choose that. And once that's done, you get a congratulations, and now you're ready to go. After you get done adding yourself as a coach, then the next step is for you is to go to iwantamaker.com. And it has to be done in that order, right? Always start with the app, right? And if you don't start with the app, then you can go get the app, but you will have a much different experience when you start by getting the app. And what I mean by that is when you get the app first, and then you go to log in at iwantamaker.com, you just choose sign in, and then you will see, and you'll know that if you're set up correctly, because you're going to see your school right here in the middle of the page, okay? And if you don't see it, then click the I Want to Maker logo, because and always know that whenever you click the I Want to Maker logo, it's going to bring you back to here, right? So it's always a way to kind of get back and get reset to say, I got to get back to my school because I got down some rabbit hole and I don't know where I am. Well, click the I Want to Maker logo, come back to your team. When you click on your team, that's going to take you to your homepage. I Want to Maker is built to support all these different state associations, right? As well as entities like yourself, a private school or organization in Texas. So those are considered leagues, right? So if you click on leagues, and I'm going to do that right here. If I click on leagues, this is the live system. I can see that, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here to make it nice and big for you. These are the leagues that we are now supporting, okay? And you can see they're from all over the United States. So once you click on leagues and you drill into your league, now you're at this page here. I'm going to jump back to the slide deck here real quick, because once I get through the slide deck, I'm going to spend all my time in the live app. But notice that there's a breadcrumb here, right? So this one, once I get to my school, since the American Heritage at Delray Beach is a school under the Florida High School Athletic Association, that's what this is. So I can always click here to go back up to the top level. So remember, it's iwantamaker.com, it's leagues. Once you get into your league, then you can go into your school. And this is the path that allows you to get back, okay? You're going to see events as you create events, as you fill out your roster. This is where you're going to do it. If I'm the coach for American Heritage Delray Beach, I am going to be spending a lot of my time right here, okay? And so you're going to see that you've got certain privileges to edit events. You can create events and that sort of thing, and I'll show you how to do all of that. So to go to an event, just click on the event name. To edit the event, click on Edit Event. It's that simple. Now what I've done here is I've actually gone up a level. I've gone up to the top level of the Florida High School Athletic Association, where I can then go to see rankings, for example. And this is a statewide view of all the teams that are ranked across the state. You can change any of these filters here to look at individual rankings as well. This will start to populate for TAPPS as you start to run events, right? And you're going to start to see how teams are ranked across the state and how players are ranked across the state. In version 3, on the I Want to Maker side, just the I Want to Maker as a whole, there's going to be nationwide rankings. So all your student athletes will be entered into the nationwide rankings as well, which they might find really cool, and teams as well. Okay, so that's a little bit about that. Now I'm going to go into the golfer registration. Just a little bit different, right? But still starts the same way. You go get the app, your golfers. So in your first team coaches meeting, we recommend that it all starts by you getting the app, you the coach. Tell your athletic director to get the app as well. And then at your first team meeting, just tell your kids, go get the app. Go get the TAPPS golf app from the App Store and register as a golfer. And they're going to see these 3 screens. The next thing they're going to do is they're going to pick a high school golfer. They're going to pick their school. They're going to give us some information so we can get them on the right roster. We display the year in school they are, so they're going to pick the year they graduate. Real simple things. You go next, and you're going to add yourself as a golfer, or if your coach had already added you manually, then they can match up with that. Okay, so we have that built in as well. So coaches have the ability to, we recommend just tell your student athletes to go get the app. But if you want to manually enter your golfers in and tell them to get the app later, then they can match up with that. But bottom line is they need to have an account, and they got to have that account connected to their roster entry. And they can create that all by themselves or this way where you can match it up. We've got live scoring, as Robert said. This is what a leaderboard looked like or actually these are events in Colorado. You touch on this menu item and you can see your profile. You can search, you can find your event. Once you get to your event, you have things that you can do at that event, and you'll find all this stuff really easy. We never get questions about how to use this part. So you get pairings after, the event is all set up, you got pairings. This is a pace of play. We track pace of play because we recommend that scores are entered after every hole. And if they are, you're good to go. You can see here that these kids decided to not put scores in after hole 3. They put 2 scores in after hole 4. Whoops, now we don't know what happened there, right? We highly recommend it's done after every hole. Okay, so that's why it's important to teach them the right way. If you turn on secure scoring hole by hole, right, and you're exchanging scorecards, we do it just like the USG rulebook is written, that there is to be a marker for every golfer. And so you can see here that this is Rose Plessity signed in, and she's scoring for Manuela. She can't put her own score in. She's scoring right here. Touch the button and enter a score. It's that simple. It's optional to do fairways and putts. And so then you got this neat official ruling. So if you and your marker can't come to an agreement, touch the button. Need an official ruling. A message, text message, and email gets sent to all the managers of the event and the officials. Get someone out there because Manuela and Rose are having a discussion about something. They need some help with something. So that is a feature that we've added. A lot of these features, coaches, are features that we added at the request of coaches like yourself. Okay, so that's a little bit about the event and scoring. And so you have the ability to score, right? And here's how you change between holes. You touch this, you go between holes. Here's a scorecard. Every single person who has the app and who has access to the event has access to every scorecard for every golfer in the event. And so it's all public information. Everything is out in the open, which makes it fun for everyone, right? So in this case, someone, I believe this was Rose, logged in, touched on Manuela's score, touched her name right here. Boom, there's her scorecard. And then she can bounce back here to the score screen. And then she touched on Mia's. Okay, go look at Mia's. Back to the score screen, right? So it's a way to keep, to be able to see anyone's scorecard. Make sure everything is right? Because we always want to make sure that as we go through a tournament that everything is on the up and up, everything is being scored correctly, and everything is visible. So that is a little bit about scorecards. When you get done with your round and you're ready to sign your scorecard, well, here you can see it was incomplete. You got to go back and get those scores in, right? Tell your marker, put those scores in. When you get in and you have a complete scorecard, and this happens to be a 9-hole scorecard, you're going to have the ability to attest your score, to sign it right here, down here. Touch to attest, basically signing your scorecard. And when that's done, look what it does. It says your score was Mia, you, Rose, attested it, and here's the date and time that it happened. Everything is right out there. As Robert said, this is the digital era of scoring golf in now, right now. And by the way, Florida has used this now they're going in their 4th year. Arizona's on their 9th year. And Florida started 4 years ago, and there is no paper used in Florida. They are 100% digital, and they have been. They did it the first year. They did paper and digital. And after that, they went 100% digital, and they've never looked back. Arkansas started last fall, no paper at all. They just went right to the digital piece, and they've never looked back either. So have had great experiences with it. So these are some scorecards. You can see pace of play here, and you can swipe between these. You're looking at the scores for round 1. You can swipe to round 2. You can swipe to see the pace of play for round 1. Swipe to see the pace of play for round 2. If you want to explore more about the events, you can see that when an event is done, when the player has scored all 9 holes or 18, it flips to their total score. But while they're actively scoring, it shows your score with respect to par. This is the same thing for teams. You can see that as well. You can touch on a team name, and then you'll see just the members of that team. I'm not showing that screen here, but these are just some different screens, and you'll learn how to navigate these. Swiping left, swiping right, pulling down, all common things that are natural for people to be able to do is all available on the app. So that's some things about national rankings. These are the rankings that we're looking at in Florida a couple years ago. So you log in and you get your way, and you touch on the menu item here, and you get the round. What I'm showing here is that you have the ability, after an event has been completely scored, to close that round. And you can do that in the app. So we have built it so that you really don't need to go back to the computer, because that's where you actually create and manage your events, is on a browser, usually on a desktop computer. We're going to be changing that in version 3, but right now that's how it's done. And then once you get that all done on a computer, then when you go to the event, all you should have to do is use the app for the entire event, even a manager, right? So you get the event scored, and then when you're done, you close it, and then that gets written to the rankings. So you can actually rely 100% on the app to score it and to close it out, and have everything entered into the rankings. You can see all the different areas where we rank players. You can take a look at which team has the most birdies across the state, which team has the most eagles, pars, whatever you want to do. Flip it to player, and you have all these things. Who's the best? Who's got the best average on par 3s? All that stuff is available. I hope you play with this and have a lot of fun with it. So that is, this is a quick slide here. We've been doing this for a long time. We received many praises from coaches throughout the United States, and this happens to be one from Mark Posey, who was like a 4-year veteran of the software. And the reason I show this is to let you know that if we're not doing something that you would like to see, email support@iwanttomakeyourjob.com and say, hey, could you add this? This would really be nice. It would be better experience for everyone if you did this or did that. So please feel free to reach out to us with any kind of suggestions that you might have. Okay, enough of the slide presentation. I'm going to close that out, and I'm going to go back over to the actual website. But before I go, are there any questions, guys, that I could answer right now?
Doyle, we did have a couple of questions come up. One is, how does a player record their own score in order to have a check for the marker's recorded score?
That's what we have eliminated by having this system, right? That is, you can still do that if you want. You record it on a piece of paper, right? That's your paper backup if you want, and some states do that. But ideally, if you think about it, if you're doing it the way we designed it, and you've exchanged scorecards digitally in the cloud, every golfer has access to their scorecard. So if Robert and I are playing in the same group, and Robert tells me his score, I'm his marker and he's mine, and we report our scores to each other, we enter it. If I want to see my scorecard, I just touch my name. There's my scorecard. If it's wrong, I say, Robert, you put the wrong score in. I had a 4 and not a 5. So Robert's got to go fix it. So we designed this so that there isn't that huge delay at the end in having to reconcile, right? We say, get it done right away. If you want, record it on a piece of paper. And when you get done, now you're back to the old reconciling, right? You have to reconcile all the scores, and that takes time. The idea of the platform is to save you that time. We don't want to have you reconcile scores at the end. We want everyone to see all the scores and be live and be and understand that this is exactly where our team is. We want them to trust the scores, right? So I hope that answers it. If you want, you can keep it on a piece of paper. But ideally, you always have access to your scorecard. And if it's not right, get it fixed. We highly recommend get it fixed. And if it's still not right and your marker is not working with you, get a ruling, get an official out there and get it resolved right away. Why wait till the end? We say get it done and get it resolved right away. Any other questions?
So, Doyle, I'm going to clarify that a little bit for TAPPS. We'll still have the 2-ball policy, so that will still be we will still be reconciling when you will still come back in. You will still meet with the course manager, course director. You're just going to affirm to them before they say the scores are final. You would still have that opportunity, and you will still come before the deal. So I agree with you. You're on hole 3, and you look down, and, hey, I got the wrong score. We need to correct it as soon as possible. If it was something else like a 2-ball situation, we would work that way. Again, going back, the other question that we had originally was, can you turn off my own players' access to other players' scoring? I think this coach does not want their players to be distracted by seeing other people's scoring. So can you make it where they can only see their scorecard, I guess, is the question that's being asked.
Yeah, that is not available right now. That would be very complicated if you could imagine. So right now, and I get this question a lot. It's a very common question. It's discipline. And what coaches tell their kids is that, hey, here's what I want you to do with this app. You are to do exactly these things. You can't look at the leaderboard. You can say that to them, right? I want you looking at the leaderboard because I want you to compete live in real time. So it's completely up to the coach to tell the kids and use discipline on what the coach wants them to do and what they don't want them to do. But we have had this question, and you can imagine how complicated this could become if we start to turn things on and off for this individual. You can see that way. You can see the individual, but not the team. You can see this player, but not that player. So these are things that we can take in, but you have to understand how complex, how difficult it might become for coaches to try and figure out, well, I thought I had that turned on for you and not. So again, we take this stuff in, but right now, the way it works is that everything is public information and available to anyone who has the app. And we just suggest that you teach your kids how to use discipline on what you, the coach, wants them to do and how you want them to compete.
I think another question, and it's kind of directed back, individual support for the coaches and the folks that are managing the event. We will have support. Tell us a little bit about your support. Like if I'm hosting the golf tournament, I'm wanting to make sure everything goes right. I want to make her support. You just put it back up there. The contact support that'll be available that day, and I foresee us, for the folks that are out there that are going to be hosting a tournament, we'll have another webinar, more like a web call, where we'll talk through everything from a TAPPS perspective, and then also we'll either get Doyle or we'll have the questions ready for his support. So Doyle, that's great that you got that support. It's there, and then we'll work through the rest. A couple of other questions that came in are kind of getting in the weeds into the TAPPS rules, but one question was, can you do all for one group? Can they all use the same cell phone? I don't think, Doyle, I don't think it matters whether you use 1 or 4 cell phones, or does it each need to be each individual player on one?
Yeah, and I'm going to get into that under the secure scoring piece. There is an option to be able to have one person in the group score for all players in the group. That's an option. I'll get into that in a little bit here.
I think the big thing on that one too is that's going to be more of an organizer's preference and what we're going to do here at TAPPS. So the option that you're going to discuss is out there. We'll talk about how to set that up and what TAPPS expectations are. All right, Doyle.
I'm going to get into details on the secure scoring.
You're good. Jump back into your presentation. That got us caught up on the questions, and away we'll go.
And I want to on support. I take calls from guys, honest to God, in their 90s. These guys are coaching into their 90s, and they don't want to even send an email. They don't want to do it any other way than to pick up the phone and call us. And I'll tell you, we answer the phone. There is no ticketing system. You call us and we'll talk to you. We get to know many coaches throughout the United States throughout the golf season. So you can, if you prefer, send us an email. If you prefer to call us, call us. and we'll pick up and we'll talk to you. And once we get your issue, if we can't get your issue resolved, we'll get higher level people. We'll fix the problem. And so we recommend, while I'm on the support thing, after you get registered on the app and you get signed into I Want to Maker, come watch these first 4 videos, and this will get you off to a blazing start. You're going to be a pro if you can get through these 4 videos, right? Because those really get you off on the right foot. And so we highly recommend doing it that way. So how is it all configured? I kind of showed you how to get back to your home, right? So if I'm a coach from the school here, so I would sign in, and then I would basically see Abilene Christian School right in the middle of my page, and I would click on it and I would land here. And you can see I'm under TAPPS and then here. If I want to go back up, I can just click here to go back up a level. And so I can do that, right? So this one here is, these are events today. I guess there's some coaches out there playing a junior varsity event and a girls varsity event. Let's see, we got some scheduled events here. That's awesome, right? So here's the Kingwood Invitational. And we've had some events in the past. So that's how you navigate the event. So you can be at your school level, or you can be at the site, at the league level, the TAPPS league level. And this is a view of all events that TAPPS schools have been invited to participate in. This particular event, I don't know if this was hosted, that looks like a preview, so I'm not sure if that's a TAPPS event or not, but bottom line is that you guys will know when you're in these things that there's no doubt that there is a TAPPS school in each of these events, because that's why they're showing up under the TAPPS league. So that's a little bit about events. Schools, all the schools have been preloaded, and we worked with the people at TAPPS to be able to, at the office, to be able to get everything in here. We did our best to get the logos right. If it's wrong, you can change it. All you have to do is go into your school. If you're a coach and you edit the school, and you go right up here and you can remove it and put your logo in, right? It's that simple. If we get the city wrong, we'll update. And if there's duplicate, if they're saying, please let us know, because we can fix it early on. It's going to be a lot better for everyone if we can get that done. So that's a little bit about the moving into your school. Here's where your athletic directors will show up right here. Here's where your coaches will show up. Here's where your rosters are. And this is where I can manually add a golfer to a roster. And I'm going to show you some schools that actually I can do that right now. So if I go up to the top level and I go to golfers, I'm going to see there are some golfers here. So I'm going to go to Trinidad. It looks like Adam got signed up twice. So we're going to have to clean that up. So that's where a coach put the golfer in. And then the golfer went and got but the golfer didn't match up with what was there. So we're going to want to deactivate one of those. So here I am at the Trinity School of Midland. These are the events that they've been invited to play in. And now I can look at, let's see if the athletic director, no, the athletic director hasn't got the app yet, but Cody's gotten the app. I can see that because he's got this swoosh here. What this means is that Cody's login is connected to this entry. So that means that this is a coach's entry, roster entry, and then this is the logo that means that they're connected. If I go to the roster, now you can see that you've got Adam has the app, right? And it looks like we've got something happened here where we've got 2 rosters. I don't know what, we're gonna have to take a look at that. I'm not sure why it's that way, but maybe the girls got in with the boys or something. We'll get that one straightened out. I'm not sure what happened there, but let me take a look here and see if, yeah, we're gonna have to remove one of those and we'll fix that. So anyway, you've got the and I think this was one of the schools that was in there before. But anyway, here's your roster, right? And now you can add golfers to your roster right here. And you can see that these golfers haven't gotten the app yet, right? And when they do get the app, then they'll get that swoosh. And if I jump back over to boys, then you can see here that Adam has the app and he's ready to go. Okay, so you can make sure you switch between boys and girls, and you'll be good to go there. So let's see here, then you got the rankings at the school level, and then that's pretty much it at that level. So now if I go back up to the top level, and now I'm looking here, this is where you can create a league event. Now, if you notice that if I go to a school as well, so if I log in and I go to the school, I also have the ability to create a league event right here. Okay. And creating a league event is very simple. I'm not going to create one, but if I was the coach from Abilene Christian, I'm going to create, and we suggest you only create the events that you're hosting, right? So you'd pick the gender, you pick the format. Typically, high school is team stroke play, tournament or practice. And we highly recommend use it for practice. Get your kids used to it, right? So that when they get to that event, it's second nature for them. You can do varsity or junior varsity. Developmental is there because we've offered it in other states, so it just happens to be available. So then I choose next. I pick the home team, and in this case, I'm right at the top, Abilene Christian, and I can add some away schools here if I want, as many as I want, right? So let's just say it's a three-way. So once I've done that, and I go down here and I go next, now I've got my name in there, and I just click on finish, and that event is created. And then I can go back and I can add players to that event. Okay. So I'm going to actually jump into this event since it's here, and I'm going to show you after you create your event, now you're going to want to manage your event. Okay. So I'm not going to make any changes to the event. I'm just going to go in here and show you what was done. Okay. So it is you got the details here. Here's the name of it. You can see it's a JV, it's a boys, it's a tournament. They are using secure scoring. They're going to let the managers, coaches, and golfers do it. So now I'm going to get into the secure scoring piece. And by the way, I'm going to talk about a lot of things about secure scoring. If you don't catch it all, just when you get logged in, just click right here. Click here to view a document on secure scoring. It's going to open up a document, and you can read about how everything works right here. Okay. So getting back, I'm going to explain it now too. So, and I'm going to hover over the little question mark that gives you a little bit of hints as to what's going on here. So if you turn on secure scoring, then that means that you're going to limit who can score. If you set it to no, then anyone can score. That's like a charity event. You don't really care about secure scoring, so you just want to let anyone put scores in. So most of you are going to use secure scoring as yes. Then you got to choose. Are you going to let the golfers? Now, managers is there, because managers can always override scores, managers of an event. But this one is primarily golfers, right? So this is where the golfers are scoring either for each other, and that's if you exchange scorecards, or one golfer in the group is scoring for everyone. The way they've got this set up, even a parent can come in and score here. This is not the recommended way to do it, right? So because typically you have enough golfers to do the scoring, you can always find one golfer per group. Let's keep the parents out of it, right? But we built this back in 2014 when smartphones were not allowed by golfers. So then you had walking scorers. So how this works is that every time anyone gets to this event, let's say it's a parent, they're going to see a button. It says, I want to be a scorer. And if they touch that, an email is going to get sent to all the managers saying that Mama Rose wants to be a scorer, and you can either allow or deny, right? So you're going to get bombarded, because if they become a scorer, they get a free ticket, and they might do this only get a free ticket, and so you have to be careful of this, right? I said this was added back in 2014 when golfers were not able to use a smartphone to score with. Now, if they can, we recommend you choose this one. And if you do, I'm not going to save these, but if you do choose this, now you've got the ability to do scorecard exchange or not. In this mode right here with golfers and managers, and this set to no, then what happens is one golfer, only golfers can score, golfers and managers, right? But golfers are typically doing the scoring, and you only need one phone in each group, right? Because that one golfer puts a burden on that golfer, keep that in mind, right? To be able to just record all the scores for everyone in that group, okay? And this is what was used, I want to say 3 years ago, by a lot of state associations and schools and coaches. Nowadays, most of them are doing this because they want to follow the USGA rule book. Why not play by the rules, right? So in the rule book says that you can have the scorecard can be electronic or paper. That came out in the new rule book in 2019. So if you do choose to exchange scorecards digitally, right? Now, again, if you've got 60 kids in a tournament and one kid doesn't have a phone, Well, I would still go with this because that manager, the coach, we typically say the coach should be putting scores in for that kid as a marker, right? Because you only have one out of all these, you can still do it. You can still exchange scorecards because managers can always override scores. They can help that golfer who had a phone die or who doesn't have a phone at all, right? So believe me, we got hundreds of thousands of kids using these apps throughout the United States. We've heard it all and we've seen it all. So anything that is out there, we can help you deal with it, right? Any situation. So, and I just talked about a phone dying and not having a phone, all that sort of thing. It all goes back to the tournament managers figuring out who's going to put scores in for this, who's going to be the marker for this kid who doesn't have a phone. So maybe the coach is going to step in and do it. Maybe any manager that's close will step in and put scores in for that person who doesn't have a phone. So if you choose to say this was added at the request of coaches in Illinois, they wanted the ability to say if a marker puts a score in for a golfer, is there a way for the golfer to see that score and to attest it per the rule book, right? It's like, yeah, okay, so every scorecard, every golfer all golfers have exchanged scorecards, and now when a score is entered by a marker, then that golfer can see it. They love that, by the way, being able to see that score that their marker put in. And now they also have the ability to say, I disagree or I agree. If they agree, now it's locked. And now you got to get managers involved to be able to change that. So it's some reassurance that my marker put a 4 in for me. I agreed to it. And now that baby's locked. No one's going to change that on me. And now I'm going to go on and play the next hole. And we're going to repeat that 9 or 18 times. So that's this here. You can turn this on or off. So I'm going to back out. I've explained everything. I've told you that you can get to the document that explains it as well up here, but that's secure scoring. Okay. So I haven't really changed anything on this event at this point, right? So now we go back here. This is where you add courses. And by the way, I'm just going to duplicate this tab here. I'm going to show you something real quick here. So if I go up here to search, and I search for a golf course, so Pine River, whatever, right? You can search on I'm sure there's a Pine River golf course out there somewhere. Here's one in Michigan. So if I go to Pine River Country Club, I can make it my favorite. If I do this, then it's going to show up right down here under favorite courses. So when you get to this step, and you got your favorite courses here, you can sit out here and you can search, add a favorite, search, add a favorite. Do that is for all the courses that you are going to be playing on where you're hosting events. And then right here, it's one click, boom, it's in. Okay, so just real simple. If you need to add one ad hoc, pick your state, pick your club, pick your course, and the course is added. And then what's going to be displayed for you is all the information about that course. All of our courses are synchronized with the USGA because the rating and slope is what's used to rank players and teams. That's important. So if this happens to be a 332 yard, you can change it. Not a big deal, right? So if you want it to be exactly right, if it's wrong and you want and we want to make sure we get the master database updated, just email us, and then that's explained up here too. Just email us, and we'll get it fixed so that the next time you add it, you won't have to make that change every time. Okay, so that's a little bit about scorecards. You can look at all the different tees that are available, right? So those are all right there. Real simple stuff on the scorecard. The thing about the scorecard is that can be changed and modified almost at any time, right? If you need to change a yardage, because it's just a reference. It's not going to break your event. On the people step, you've got managers and coaches. And these managers and coaches got here because when a team is added, when I showed you that stepping process where I picked the teams in an event, when the teams are added to an event, then what happens is the system automatically adds the coaches from that team as both coaches and managers. All right. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually go over to a different league. I'm going to go to the Arizona League because they have used this quite a bit now. And I'm going to go back to the one of the state championships. And boy, they're already into their season here. I'm going to have to go. I know what I'll do. I'll go to schools and I'll go to here. And then there's past. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to edit this event. Okay, this is the D2 Boys State Championship in Arizona last November 2nd. So this is a little bit different, and I'm bringing you here because I want to show you that you have the ability here, and I guess they didn't limit it here. So you can. I was hoping they would have here, but if you want to limit the people who can manage your event, then you take them out here. So you see, I told you that all the coaches are added automatically, right? But if I decided that I only want Adam, Amy, and Ann to be able to edit this event, well, then I would select all. I would deselect these 3 or 4, and I would say, these are my 4, so I can delete the rest. Now, only these 4 can manage this event. Okay, so that's just a feature that we added so that it's a communication tool. So now I've left all the coaches in. So if I want to blast an email out to all the coaches, I go here, and now it's in a communication tool as well. If I wanted to send the pairings to everyone, all I have to do is come in, and I would select the 73 recipients. Boom, send. Pairings are out to all those coaches. So that's why we have managers and coaches, to be able to limit who can edit the event. Now, keep in mind that managers can come in and add players, and you might want to leave them in. If you trust all your coaches to come in here and add their players on the team step, then leave them in as managers. And in Arizona, you can see they fully trusted that these coaches were not going to do anything that they weren't supposed to do for this state championship. It's their choice. But we give you that option. So that's why the managers and coaches are there. I showed you how you can communicate. The golfers are here. And as you look at this state championship, if I want, and let's see what they did for scoring. Yeah, look at here. They did secure, golfers, managers, digitally exchanging, and locking. This was their state championship. And they went paperless. I was actually at this tournament, and they had no issues whatsoever. So then that's how that's set up, right? But if I want to figure out, and I'm trying to make a decision, do I want to go with the scorecard exchange or not? Well, here, if every kid, and this means this kid is ready to score, right? So looks like they all are ready to score. 95 kids all ready to score. So they probably used it all year long, so it's not a big deal, right? So I'm going to get out of that event. I'm going to go back over here. Let's see if this event. Yeah, see, this is probably why this is not a good idea. We do not recommend this because we'll have to talk to the coach here, because now we have no idea who these players are. And if I was a parent and I saw, well, your kid's P6 today, not a good idea. So that is not recommended. So we recommend you use the kids' names, right? If you don't have them, then don't put them in, right? They're gonna have to go fix that up later now. So you can see that they didn't have a lot of kids swooshed here. That's probably why they picked to say that they were going to let anyone really help. And maybe their plan is to say, as we get through going through the season and we start to get these kids registered, then we can start scoring live, right? So that will happen as time goes on. So that's, and then you can always export the golfer list, which gives you the first name, last name, their email, their seed, the school they're from, as a sheet to give to the starter if you want. Scorers is here, so no parents have asked to be a scorer yet at this point, because they would show up here if they would have asked and have been admitted to be a scorer. They would show up here. So no one's been granted the ability to be a scorer. So at this point, it's safe to assume that hopefully they've got a golfer in each group, or they're going to score it after the fact. Okay, so that's how that part works. So how do you get players into an event? I'm going to have to reach out to the coach from El Paso, Jefferson. So when you want to add players to your roster, all you have to do is click right here. So for this school here, I'm going to add golfers, and I just basically check box their names. I can't add them twice, and I go down and I click import. That's all I have to do. And now all those players will be added to the event. After you get all your players into the event, by the way, I have never seen this. We say to people, never do this. I have never seen a coach do this in 10 years. So this is the first. So we'll have to reach out to them. So when you get all your players in and you go and you create your round, then you're going to go in and you're going to add your players. You're going to sort of pair everyone up, right? And so in this situation, they're going to do 4 scores out of 5, shotgun, and holes 18. So you can see that this is the first pairing here. And by the way, once they got in here and there was no pairings, they just simply clicked on add 10 pairings. Boom, they add 10 pairings. And then they go back up and then they start adding players to this pairing. So this is the 9 o'clock starting on 1A, this golf course, and these are the tees they're playing. And all they did was they clicked on add. Oh, good. They didn't use them. Wonderful. So then you pick the players and then you put them into the pairings. Okay, once you do that, then this group, when they get to that first tee, they'll know who's playing with who because they will open up the app and go to the pairings and say, looks like we're playing together and we're starting off on hole number 1A. Okay, so that is the pairings, real simple to do. There's videos that help you on how to do all this stuff. And if you don't, click on the help up here and you can watch videos up there as well. On to the next step. So on the leaderboard step, you can turn on or off the team and individual leaderboard, right? So if you're running an individual qualifier for your school and you don't want the team score calculated, just turn it off. And that's all you have to do. It's not going to change anything except it's not going to be available to view. We have tiebreakers. You can do the standard USGA tiebreaker or scores not included in the team score. Real simple. It breaks the ties for teams. That's really all there is on that step. You can set your default leaderboard. And then finish, you can put event information. You can put rules in. You can print out scorecards if you want right here. And that's real simple to do. You can do it by with marker notes at the top. So you can see we have supported this type of thing for years. It makes a beautiful scorecard with the logo of the school. And if you want, you can print these out and you can say, hey kids, this is your backup, or this might be your official scoring. It's completely up to you on how you do it. So what we recommend you do is listen to what TAPPS is saying, what's going to happen at the postseason, so you can make sure your student athletes are prepared to score the way Robert's group is going to have the postseason done, right? So that's what we recommend. And as you work towards that goal of having your student athletes ready, that's what you should be working on throughout the regular season. Okay, so that takes care of that. Now I'm going to go ahead and exit. And we're going to go back out. We're going to look at this. Oh, good. They are scoring it. So now I'm going to pause here. Are there any questions I can answer at this point? I just went through the edit event management and creating events.
Hey, Doyle, this is Robert. We've had a few more questions. I think you've probably answered most of them as you've gone through this. One question I think you've covered and kind of shown how it works. If somebody at a TAPPS school is hosting a tournament, or they're attending a public school tournament in Texas, everybody's pretty much on the app now, the Texas High School Golf Coaches app for the public schools. So they should be able to enter tournaments, they should be able to host tournaments and have all the information in there and be able to do that. Is that correct?
That's correct. And if you need, like this event here, when they added, if this is a public event, right? Public side event, public school event. They just click on add team from leagues. So after you create your initial event and then you want to bring a public school in, then you go in edit event and look at here. So if I wanted to bring a TAPPS school in, I would just go here and I would click on this and it brings up all the TAPPS schools. And then I can check box those and I can filter, I can search. And now I just go down here to the bottom and I click import. And now I've just brought teams in from in this public school event, the Texas High School. I brought in some TAPPS schools, and the same thing works. The cool thing about this is that your kids always use your app. So this could be a situation where in one particular group you've got two kids from TAPPS schools using the TAPPS app, scoring for two kids that are using the Texas High School golf app. Right. So you will always use the app where your team is, right? So TAPPS schools will use the TAPPS app. Texas High School golf schools will use the Texas High School golf app. Does that make sense?
No, that's perfect, and I think that's good. I think we're good. I think we're caught up. If you want to jump ahead, I think we're good to go.
Okay, good. So once you have got your event all set up and this is ready to go, right? You set your pairings and scores are being entered live and you're having all kinds of fun with it. On the app, and on the web, you can always click on the player's name to see their scorecard. Okay. And so keep in mind that you will not be able to score, have the score will not get filled in, the attest and the date, like I showed you in my slide presentation, unless you're doing scorecard exchange. If you do it all out and you're doing it fully by the USGA rule book, then, when you got a marker for every golfer, then now you can sign your scorecard. So you won't get that with this here, because this is set to not exchange scorecards. All right. So just keep that in mind. So go back here now. Now, if I switch over to, I want to show you the team gross here. If I do this, and then I click on this right here, I can see my team right here. These are my players and how they're doing in the tournament. So I can look at, just from a coach's perspective, just my players. And all I did was I just simply clicked on my team on the team leaderboard. Okay. So that's a little bit about leaderboards, getting to scorecards, right? If you want to do a scoreboard, I'm going to actually jump over to this, because this event has, was fully scored by everyone. Let's see if they signed their score. Yes, look at here. They even signed their scorecards. Here's the score. Here was the person who attested it. All done exactly the way we designed it. If I wanted to have this displayed on a big screen TV, and I'm pretty sure Arizona did this, right? They don't do the big paper scoreboards and all that stuff anymore. They hook it up to a big screen TV, and all of it's live. It's all scrolling. You can click on scroll here, and it will scroll through all the individuals. It'll wrap around, and then if you click cycles, it'll scroll through all the teams, and it'll just keep going all day long. Everything, every time it gets down to the bottom, it goes and grabs the latest data, and it starts over again. Some of the things that you can see is really cool here, right? Is you got logos with all the players. Not a lot of products out there do that, and that's one of the things that we have taken a lot of pride in, is that we want this to be a great experience for everyone, and to show your school colors has proven to be a very popular thing for the all the users of the app, and then to be able to see the information about the kids and all that sort of thing, that makes it fun too. So this scoreboard, there's different views here too if you want to play with it. I'm going to stop the scroll, and then turn off scroll, and I'm going to go over here. I could look at the traditional, I could look at hole by hole, and that will show you a little different view. So these are just large things, on a large format TV, what you could do and the different options that you've got. You got a progressive view, and you can play with this. Once you get an event done, you can go in. This is just different ways to display this is kind of like the Masters, right? How they do things, right? So that's scoreboards, right? And those are, free for you to use. Put it up on a big screen, put it up on a projector, whatever you want to do there. There's a scorecard. If you need to edit the results for whatever reason, you can do it on the app, or you can do it here. So if I click on edit results, I just simply click on a pairing, and here all the scores are for this pairing. Now, if I make a change here, keep in mind that this is all logged. All this is logged into the event log database, into the event log, and it logs it for both on the app. It'll say manager or coach, whatever, made a change for Brazen on hole number 6. Okay, so that's all in that event log. But this is how you would do that. This is how you can actually, if a kid has to withdraw, you do that right here. Again, you can do that on the app as well. And so these kids are scoring for each other, right? They're all assigned to score for each other. Well, if I have to withdraw one, well, what are we going to do now, right? Well, the system automatically takes care of that. So if I have to withdraw one of these players, then the system automatically adjusts and it reassigns the markers. So now the other two are scoring for each other. Okay, so that's all done automatically. The other thing that I want to show you is how to break ties if you need to do that. We've got the edit ties here. So in this situation, oh, here's a tie right here. Great. So if I go into edit ties, and let's say that they had a playoff for whatever reason, and this would usually happens for tying for first and second. So if this was flipped, if Brazen beat Jaden, then I can put a 4 here and a 3 here and save it. So that's how you can manually break ties, and you can do that for teams as well. So if you want to use the team and individual tiebreaker to get you off to a good start and then break ties manually, you can do that. Or you can just turn off the tiebreakers altogether, and then these two kids would be listed as 3 and 3, and then you can break it later. So you've got all those options at your disposal. Okay, so that takes care of the edit results, edit ties. You got the event log. I'm not going to show you that. You can download that. It's a spreadsheet that has all the what has happened with the event. And now I'm going to move into rankings. Okay, so since there's not a lot of rankings in for Texas yet, I'm going to actually go into the rankings for Arizona. Now you can look at rankings at the event level too. Okay, so I should actually go back. Let me just go back into that event. And I'm going to look at if I go to rankings, or it's kind of like statistics, but we're still ranking, right? If I wanted to see, this is an 18-hole event. If I wanted to see who had the most birdies in this event, which team had the most birdies, I can simply, it's right at my fingertips. In these 2 rounds, Ironwood Ridge had 26 birdies. I could also say, I wonder which team did the best who's the best average on par fours. Play with this, right? It should make this a lot of fun, right? So then you can flip over to the players, right? And once you get to the players, you can say, hey, I'm only interested in the juniors, right? So this is all the stuff that's available at the event level. Now let's take it up to the state level, because now across the entire state, across all events, I've got the ability to do the same thing, right? So, and I can also say, I'm really only interested in girls, and I'm interested in D2 girls, and I'm only interested in who had the most pars, right? And so there we go. We got all this information here, and I just click change, and now we're looking at teams, girls, pars, 160 for Castile, 14 rounds, 14 9-hole rounds, right? So all this stuff is available to you. And if you wonder how it all works, just click this button right here, and you can read all about the ranking system. Now, what we do, I'm going to just briefly touch on how we rank, and that is based on what the USGA does. The USGA made these formulas available to the public, and so once the scores are entered, we've got the score, we got the T box that you assign the player to, which is important. Make sure you do that right. Score minus the rating times 113 over the slope, and then we can sum those together to get right here to get a team IWR. Okay. So that is a little bit about that, and you can read about that at your leisure. So that takes care of the rankings piece, and we're coming up on 12 o'clock. So I think I need to answer some more questions. I want to honor you guys' the hour here that we had to do this.
Okay, Doyle. I think you answered a question we had about rankings. I think we're good there. Here's a good one. If coaches, can they only see scores from the tournaments they're participating in, or do coaches have access to see scores from other tournaments, or do they need to buy a ticket to do that?
They have access to every event across the entire state for every season that they're a coach, and they can see rankings. Coaches, athletic directors, players have access to everything. No tickets required.
That's great.
A parent can buy a season ticket and have the same access to all the tournaments, all the rankings across the entire state.
No, that's great. I think we're good on our other questions. If we missed one, reach out to us here at the office, and we'll catch those. I think as you've gone through everything, I think you've touched on all the different aspects. I do want to let our coaches know, if you're going to be hosting one of our district or regional tournaments, we'll have more information coming out. We'll have more details about some of these specific things in terms of how we're going to set up the tournaments and how we'll assist you in that. So don't fret over that too much yet. I think this is a great opportunity as you're moving into tournaments, starting your season. Jump in there. Get your coaches, get your players, get everybody on this app, and like Doyle said, play with it. Use it as you do practice rounds. Use it as you do those things to get comfortable with it. We do appreciate the fact of how this is set up. There's a long track record here with other state associations, and the great job Doyle and all his team have done in thinking through every possible scenario. I know as golf coaches and players, there's a lot of little specific kind of nitpicky things sometimes that you have to be careful about when it comes to scoring, and we certainly appreciate that. I appreciate Doyle and his group for jumping in there and allowing us to have the opportunity. It is very timely that we're jumping in at the same time as the public schools are. Appreciate Doyle's efforts in that respect, so that as you move around in tournaments throughout the season, you'll have the opportunity to use this and test it and get good at it as we move into our play. Doyle, anything else you want to cover or share
I
with
think
our
we should probably
listeners?
discuss, because typically either we or we, along with you, Robert, the TAPPS, will create postseason tournaments, because we want to make sure these are branded with the TAPPS logo. So we should probably, what I recommend is, and this is what we do with every state, is that either the association, right, TAPPS, or us, in conjunction with us, create all postseason events, and then we can assign the right people to be the managers of those events. How do you want to do that?
Yes, we will do that. We'll coordinate with, we've reached out already. We'll continue to reach out to our golf community and ask them to let us know who within their district is hosting a tournament. And we're accumulating all the details on when and where. I see it looks like All Saints has already got the 5A District 1 set in there. So Brian's probably got all that set and ready to go. But yes, we'll coordinate getting all those TAPPS branded and make sure we've got we're still accumulating information from some of our hosts, and we'll
we want to have a
coordinate
naming
that.
convention the same across, so we don't have it all over the board. So we should probably, we'll talk about that and get those set up for everyone.
We'll do that. We'll help everybody with all of that information. Anything else, Doyle, to share? As I mentioned, we'll have some other training sessions, and we'll have specific ones for our district and regional hosts.
Yeah, I at this point, Robert, I don't have anything else. Oh, look at here, we do have some rankings already, so this is cool. So good stuff, coaches. So yeah, by the way, on the rankings, if you're playing in a Texas high school event, when you're done and that gets closed, the rankings go back to you, right? So rankings are all based on your team, right, and the league you're in. So just keep that in mind. I didn't mention that before. But that's it. I think everything else has been covered, and I think we should be off and on the right foot here.
Good deal, Doyle. Hey, thanks to your team. This is a great resource for our schools. We're excited about the opportunity to jump in here. I'm going to let Steve Hahulan kind of give some closing comments here and observations as our TAPPS athletic director.
Okay.
You know, one of the things I really appreciated about Doyle's answer to that last question, something I saw, a really big plus this program is that coaches, players, parents, fans can all follow all the TAPPS tournaments that might be going on, whether it's district or regional. It can be live or on demand. I know as an AD, and I know my coaches always wanted to know how the competition in other parts of the state were doing, and so this is really exciting. So we're really excited about all the things that this program is going to bring to TAPPS Golf. Robert?
Thank you, Steve. Once again, Doyle, thanks to you and to all the folks at I Want Maker for setting this app up for us. We're excited about it. It's going to be a different but a fun season this year. The old, you can't have your phone and all that kind of stuff, that's clearly gone out the window now. We've moved into the 21st century in the world of golf here at TAPPS, and so we're excited about that. If you have any questions, email us, info@tapps.biz. Give us a call here at the office. We will have more information coming out as we move through our golf season, especially for our district, regional, and state tournaments. John, if you can close us out, share with our listeners how this will be available afterwards. And thanks to everyone for joining us, and have a great day.